A dire new warning for Republicans, a super PAC supporting Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell explaining why Republicans can expect the toughest midterm since 2006 when the party lost both the House and the Senate. Stephen Law is president and CEO of the Senate Leadership Fund. I remember 2006 well. I'm sure you do too. And that means that when you're in politics, you never really rest easy. However, Quinnipiac today is showing that the Republicans are doing better in the congressional ballot, narrowing the Democrats' lead by about 3 points. Democrats at 46, Republicans at 43%. So what is keeping you up at night?
Well, I'm always happy to hear positive news, but there are some larger trends that we've been seeing, particularly in special elections and in the elections we saw in Virginia last fall, that give us a lot of concern. We're seeing sky-high Democratic enthusiasm, which is reflected in high turnout, also very, very robust fundraising numbers for their candidates. In addition to that, obviously, a lot of retirements in the House, including yesterday, a particularly noteworthy one with Speaker Ryan. And then in addition to that, the party as a whole is losing ground, especially with suburban women voters, more educated, higher income women. And we're going to have to do an awful lot, particularly to hold the House. The Senate, a different matter. We've got better terrain that we're fighting on there, relatively few seats to defend compared to the Democrats. But it's going to be a very, very challenging election for Republicans.
Earlier this week, you, as Republicans, considered it good news that Governor Rick Scott was getting into that Senate race. Meantime, in West Virginia, there are several Republicans trying to win the primary there to run against Joe Manchin. Are you concerned that they will not be able to do that if they don't nominate the person that can best beat him?
Right. You mentioned Rick Scott. We think his entry into the race turns that from a kind of a nothing burger race into one of probably our top prospects for a pickup. Bill Nelson has had the good fortune of running against second-rate candidates for most of his career, and his lucky streak ended this week with Governor Scott entering into that race, and we're going to be very involved there. There are some states where we're concerned about primaries and the wrong candidate getting nominated, West Virginia being one where we could end up not putting our best foot forward there. Also, Mississippi, where we're going to be defending the Thad Cochran seat. We're concerned about Chris McDaniel being the nominee there. If he is that nominee, we expect Democrats to make a play for that one in the same way that they did against Roy Moore in Alabama.
And then take me to North Dakota. Kevin Cramer, raised $1.3 million in the first quarter of that race. Heidi Heitkamp, the senator, the incumbent, the Democrat in that very red state, raised $1.6 million. I'll tell you what, I sometimes think I should have gone into being a media buyer for political campaigns, because that's where all this money is going to be spent. How do you spend that much money in North Dakota to try to win a race?
Well, you spend it as carefully as you can. You know, one of the things about North Dakota in particular is there are only so many TV stations to buy. If you spent $10 million, you'd be buying, you know, the Cartoon Network. I mean, it's pretty darn amazing. The thing that's amazing about what Kevin Cramer was able to accomplish was that he pretty much evenly matched his Democratic opponent dollar for dollar in fundraising, despite the fact, many people don't know this, he had a family tragedy, and he pressed on through and yet still was able to post amazing numbers. We think he's going to be a great candidate. Heidi Heitkamp is a strong incumbent. She works the state, but we think that Kevin Cramer is going to be a tremendous challenger in that race.
Well, no doubt the Republicans have their work cut out for them, but it sounds like the Democrats do as well. All right, Stephen Law, thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Great to be on.